Hey everyone, it's Nick here from Open Road Digital, and I'm here with Simon Marshall, founder of TBD Marketing, and we're doing Digital Dale Carnegie. We're following, we're reviewing some of his principles from his classic 1936 book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And this is one that I remember when I first read this book, I thought, wow, this is fascinating. It's a little long. I feel like we could do a TLDR shortened 2022 version of this principle, but I'll leave that. Maybe people can comment and rename this. But here it is. Remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. I guess in other words, I could say people love their names. I remember I had a friend when I was in grade school who she didn't like her name, but that's the only time I've ever heard of somebody saying that she or he didn't like their name. So here's something that Dale Carnegie said in his book. Most people don't remember names for the simple reason that they don't take the time and energy necessary to concentrate and repeat and fix names indelibly in their minds. They make excuses for themselves that they are too busy. So I've got some thoughts on this, but I'm going to...
No, tell us your thoughts.
Well, here, there's one more thing I want to say is he also mentioned that the Emperor of France, Napoleon III, had a talent for remembering names. But this person took the time to sort of, he didn't have a photographic memory, but he worked at it. We're talking about the Emperor of France in the mid 1800s. He worked at it. He would write names down. If it was an unfamiliar name, he would ask them to spell it out. In the digital realm, I think obviously we can use people's names in emails and messages and all that sort of thing. But one of the things I think about is I've Googled people's names before. And the content that comes back on Google or Bing is not really what I would expect, including when you're hitting the images tab. Like, what does this person look like?
Yeah.
And the thing is, what I think a lot of people don't know, a lot of firms, companies, individuals know that when you have an image on a website, if you do not attach a piece of metadata, which is easy to type in, called alt text attributes, if you don't put Simon Marshall TBD Marketing on their photo, Google has no idea if that's a photo of the London Eye or a kitty cat or you. and so there's this sort of hidden world where a name is appropriate. But anyway, I think...
Or Simon Marshall the jockey, or Simon Marshall the cabinet maker.
Right.
And so we have to, you just said it there, like Simon Marshall, founder of TBD Marketing, is going to help Google understand who I am, who this is. And when someone's looking for Simon Marshall and they're searching in Bristol and they've previously looked for a digital marketing agency, guess what Google's going to do? It's wise. It knows I'm going to serve them this as the first result, rather than the cabinet maker or the Australian jockey or whoever that other guy is that nicked my good Twitter handle that I didn't get hold of, right? So stuff matters, Nick, because that propinquity, that digital propinquity of being close to the first result is huge, isn't it?
Right.
All the traffic goes through the top of the page in the first couple of results. Otherwise, people just do another search.
Right.
I think. Away from digital for a minute as well. The name is identity. Name is identity. It's who you are, right? Your parents. It's one of the first things your parents give you, right? And so it's so closely ingrained with who you are as an individual. So the idea that somehow that we don't respect other people to listen as to something that's so incredibly important to them. When they say my name is Nick Cotar, we think, Nick, what was that? What's his name? Matt. I think it's offensive because. We don't mean it to be. I've had periods of being terrible with names over the years, and what I realised was the behaviour was just because my nerves were getting in the way of meeting new people, or whatever it might be. I've got to get over it. We've got to get over it and say, no, I'm listening. What I'm doing right now is not listening to talk. I'm listening to listen. I'm listening to this person sharing with me. Oh, that's a lovely name. Or where did you get that from? Or, is it a relative? Ask somebody. Right. Secure it to memory in some way.
Well, that's one of the things that Dale says in here. He says, take the time and the energy. Now, here's one of the ways I translate this into a digital environment is we all, like if you're on LinkedIn, we all get these connection requests. And my full name is on my full first name is on my LinkedIn profile, Nicholas. Most people know me by Nick, but Nicholas is perfectly legitimate. My parents gave me that name, and I like the name.
Yeah.
But I know immediately when people have a connection request that I know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't know me, and they're going to sell in a bad way. And people don't realize that, look, hit the follow button. Get to know who I am. Yeah. And that's what Napoleon III did, was he actually tried to get to know who that person was. There was no digital back then, but honestly, I think he probably would have been brilliant at LinkedIn or other platforms. That there's different ways to I think there's different ways to define what a name is, right?
On mine, I include my middle initial in my first name. Any request that comes in with Simon P written on it. Hey, Simon P, dear Simon P, it's ignored.
Yep.
It's ignored if you can't be bothered to call me Simon. I think, again, it's from the experts. It might be Spirin, it might be who's that analytics guy? The Belgian guy. Richard van der Blom. He says in the thing, he's put a little thing on his profile that says, if you write to me, then mention, LLL 3L, what's her name? Linda, I'll come up with her name and put it in the comments. She says, mention the colour green when you kind of first connect with me, right? And she puts it in her profile. It's really, really clever. And it basically just says, if you're interested in me, you've read my profile. If you've read my profile, which is pretty right, then I'll take
action.
Of course. And why not, right? But if your name's Nick, if your name's Nicholas on LinkedIn, but you say to everyone in your profile, when you approach me, please don't call me Nick, because that's how I prefer to be called. My parents, I'm totally cool with you calling me Nick. Then anyone writes Dear Nick, you know that they've gone out of their way because your name is Nicholas on the thing. Right? You've told them. And it's a really easy qualifier. Mine, Dear Simon P, you're done. Yeah. I'm not even going to read the message, right? I have to have a filter because I don't know about you, Nick, but I get dozens of those things every day. Yeah. What is it? I was talking about this with my wife yesterday, who is an international marketing law firm supremo. She was saying, we're just thinking about like how many messages received by our clients and targets every day from my organisation.
Right.
I mean, do that for one firm. It's, it's tens and dozens each month, and then you times that by 6 or 7 panel firms. These people are getting bombarded with information. Yeah. And it would be much easier if we just wrote, Dear Nick, out of all the stuff I've seen this month, these are 3 things I think are going to be most relevant to you. So a little bit of knowing the person, narrowcasting, behaving like that person's identity matters, and calling them out. If they're amongst your 10 most important clients, why wouldn't you do that?
Right. Well, I've got a little twist on the name. It's not just a person's name.
No.
It's the name of a firm, an organization, or even the name of a topic, an issue, something that when people are Googling, they're going to use the name of their problem, their whatever it is. And when I think about that in terms of, say, website content and then links, I see too many times where people will say, well, if you want more information on this, click here. And then the link to this page, it has fantastic information, very helpful information for the person who wants that. The link is embedded in the words click here. But the name, literally the name of that link, the link text actually should contain those names, those words of the topic, the firm, whatever. Yeah. There's smart ways to do this. And once you get, you have the mindset to do it, it really is quite simple to approach it. So
let me say something funny on that as well. Years ago, we were on the Twitter feed and somebody had spelled Osborne Clark's name wrong with a U in the middle of it. And this young man had written to his friend on Twitter, we're going to get training contracts at Osborne Clark, smash it and smash life. And we wrote back to him from the corporate account and said, we think the odds will be immeasurably improved if you know how to spell our name right.
Yeah. Fantastic. Okay, so that's it. I'm gonna repeat what Dale Carnegie said. Remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest and most important sound in any language. And if anybody can cut that down in length, please let us know in the comments. Thanks a lot.